Bobby Glenn James is the guy who I'm sitting with actual in physical space. I know that doesn't happen in podcasting very often anymore, but we're actually sitting together. But I've known Bobby for years. We both co-founded the Utah Podcast Summit, and we started working to help podcasters. Bobby is also a speaker coach. And you guys may have heard me talk about the hero's journey before and how you need to be the mentor and not the hero of your podcast. Well, the guy who got me down that path to start thinking about the hero's journey in connection with podcasting is Bobby. I have learned so much from Bobby. I think 4 years ago, I took a class from him, and he told a story that gave very specific data that I was just realizing just a few minutes ago. I can still give you, it's about a 7-digit number after 4 years ago. So I'm gonna have Bobby switch the camera over to him so that the name actually matches the face. We're excited to talk to him today about storytelling and how to create an epic storytelling for yourself. So Bobby, thanks for being on here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Brandon and Kim. This is, any chance to get on and talk about storytelling and the connection and podcasting in general. You know me, I just love it. I love the whole thing. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Am I just going to
love your energy?
And this is toned down, people. This is toned down. I missed a couple things, and I know I'm not on camera, so I sound like I'm in disembodied voice. But he's also the host of the Biz for Good podcast, the Biz for Good show. It's obviously a podcast, and his energy. If you really want to hear his energy, this is about 1/10 of what he brings to that show.
I promise myself I'm going to relax tonight to just have some fun with everybody here. So I'm going to mellow out.
No, fun and energy are good. That is so awesome. Good. I just have lots of questions because I think that your topic is amazing about how to create an epic story and why it matters, especially in podcasting. So I would love to hear all that you have to say about that.
Awesome. Oh, I have an opinion. That is for sure. I've been studying this whole storytelling thing. Storytelling. I'm a professional, people. Storytelling thing. Well, since I was a kid, big giant movie fan, read every kind of book and fiction you could possibly read. And all these great stories made an impact. I went to college and the literature class and reading Homer and the Odyssey and the oh my gosh, Dante's Inferno. So many powerful stories that have stood the test of time for generations and generations. There's nothing more powerful out there than telling a compelling, powerful story. But I want to ask the question, why do we need a story? In your podcast, why should you have a story as be something important? And I'm going to tell you, the big thing is hopefully what you're trying to do or wanting to do is teach something. Is teach people something with your podcast. I mean, even if you're having fun on your podcast, and hey, I've got some podcasts that we're strictly just have some fun, but there usually is a piece of teaching or knowledge giving. That's what stories has always done. And I'm gonna do this little thing that we were talking about with Brandon that I did 4 years ago, just to really show you what the power of learning is with storytelling. So I'm gonna say some data. I'm gonna say some data right now. I'm gonna spit out some data, right, Brandon? And I want everybody to think really hard, and I want you to memorize what I'm saying. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to memorize it as best you can and see if you can say it back to me. Okay, just everybody pay attention. So 2 legs is sitting on 3 legs, eating 1 leg. Then 4 leg comes along, takes 1 leg, 2 leg takes 3 leg, and hits 4 leg to get 1 leg back. Can anybody repeat that back to me? Kim, can you repeat that back?
I know the answer, and I don't think I can.
Sir.
You can't do it? It's a bunch of data.
Sir.
There's a bunch of legs in there. What are you talking about? A bunch of legs. So I'm going to spin this a little bit. Instead of just telling you the data, I'm going to tell you a story, and I should probably put my phone on.
Please silence your phones and enjoy the story.
Exactly. Okay. So here's the story. A little boy is sitting on his three-legged stool, eating his big turkey leg, and he's enjoying it. And all of a sudden, this mean dog comes out of nowhere, and he jumps up and grabs the boy's chicken leg out of his hand. And the boy grabs his three-legged stool, and he hits the dog, and he takes back his chicken leg and starts to enjoy eating it again. Now, can you tell me that back? Anybody?
Possibly.
I will tell you, and Brandon can attest to this, I was told that story 5 years ago, and I love the power of what the story does. And it you just remember, it is how our brain works. We do not see letters and numbers in our head. That's not how the brain manufactures knowledge and thinking. We see pictures. We see things in our head. Nobody sees Bill ran, jumped the ball. Nobody sees those words. We learn and we understand through stories. So guys, there's nothing more powerful out. If you want to make an impact in the world on your podcast, connect with stories and tell them compellingly. And I'm going to talk about how to do that. Like, I'm going to show you the secret. I'm going to open the lid and I'm going to tell you step by step how to tell the most powerful, compelling story that you possibly can. But before that, I want to tell you a story, and this is a TED Talk. Go look it up because I'm going to mess up all of the perfect details, but it's a legit TED Talk. Go look up the TED Talk, the eBay story experiment. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of this experiment, but this person, he wanted to test his theory that stories made things more valuable. So he went to the dollar store and he bought $120 worth of junk, of little dinky items, things. And then he had writers. He went to these writers and he had them write up these cool stories about these little dinky items, these little things. And he posted them on eBay with the stories. And he said on that, these are just a story. This is not necessarily true about that item. This is a story that's connected with the item. He spent around $120, something like that, on eBay. They brought in more than $3,600. Sorry, around $3,600. That in anybody's business, that margins are amazing.
I'll take that.
Exactly, and the power was all in the story. I advise you to go look at it. It's such a powerful TED Talk. And it was a legit test. And that just shows you we learn powerfully through stories, and we also give value. We give more value when we connect things with a story. So is there anybody that would like to understand the actual pieces and parts to tell a powerful, amazing, compelling story? Anybody?
I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people who care about this. No, guys, like,
they should.
This is something that Bobby is. When he sat down and taught me, I was like, no, I've actually studied this. And Bobby's like, well, no, this is what I've learned from all of these years of studying story. And I'm like, this lines up very much with the most serious thinkers' thoughts on storytelling. So he's got this. He's got a great understanding of this. I'm excited about it.
This is the cool part. There is so much written. Again, I'm a professional. Written about storytelling. You can see and I've read so many, but there's so much good stuff out there. But here's what my dyslexic mind has a hard time with data. I really need something to connect the pieces and parts. So when after years and years of studying powerful storytelling, I said, what if we could explain it by using a story. What if we could explain how to tell a compelling story by connecting it to something that's a story? And that's when I came up with this, and maybe we can show it on the screen now. We're going to talk about it for a second. It's called the Story Roller Coaster. And there's 5 main pieces and parts of a great story. I'm just going to get that out of the way. The first piece is you have to have a setup. You have to set up the hero. You have to set up the area, the place. You speak in present tense. That setup is the first piece of a powerful story. Then you have to have some kind of a challenge. There has to be a reason for the story that the hero goes up against, right? You have to have a challenge. Then for it to be really engaging and interesting, the hero has to go through it to learn something. There has to be what we call a lesson cycle. There has to be some reasoning for the hero to learn and grow and to get out of what we call the pit, the darkest part of the story, the pit. And then they come through and get what's called the breakthrough. If you don't have a breakthrough in a story, then it's going to, whenever you've heard somebody tell a story and it falls flat and it just kind of ends and you're like, oh, okay, there wasn't a breakthrough. There wasn't something that the hero became conqueror of. And then the last piece that we talk about is lessons learned. And this is where you, if you're on a podcast or you're on a speech and you're giving, this is where you give a call to action to say, I've learned this. I've learned how this works. Now I want you to go out and do something powerful with your life. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. Now with the roller coaster, there's certain pieces and parts to a story that I was always confused where to put them and how to, I knew all these pieces. I've read so many things. But if you think of the story of the first time you rode a roller coaster, oh my gosh, that first time when you're walking, you're tall enough finally. It's just
that was like kindergarten for me.
It was kindergarten for you, and it was like 8th grade for me. So you walk into the you've waited in the line and you get up there and there's the cart, and you were lucky enough to get the first seat, the front seat on the roller coaster, right? You're sitting there, and then that kid comes along and he pops that metal thing in to make sure you don't fly out. Oh, this is important, right? Because we all like to raise our hands when we're on. You don't know that yet. This is your first thing. You just know, oh my gosh, he just locked me in. It's official. I'm scared. I'm worried. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And then it clicks and it jerks you. And then click, you get to that first uphill thing, and it's going slow, and you're freaking out, and you're like, oh my gosh, click. This is where we're introduced to the hero now. The hero's heart is pounding. Oh my God, am I going to live through this? Am I going to die? What's happening? And then you get to that top piece, and there's no turning back. And you see the villain, this horrible drop that you don't know. Are you going to live through this? And oh my gosh, you shoot down and wow, it's adrenaline. Your stomach flies out and oh my gosh, this is crazy. And you're scared. You're freaking out. And then it dips back and it comes up and you're like, oh, I'm alive. And you see in front of you the loop. Oh my gosh. I'm fixing to go upside down. You go upside down and you're screaming and you're yelling and you realize, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so great. Oh man. And then you head up in, you go that last little piece and it locks and it starts to slow down. And you're like, I made it. I lived through it. Oh my gosh, I've learned so much about myself. What a powerful, I can take on scary, scary things. And then it's over. And you're like, wow, let's do it again. So when we came up with the roller coaster, I just thought of what was the funnest ride or the craziest thing that I loved as a kid. And it was always the roller coaster. And these pieces fit so well. You'll see on this page of the workbook that we created many, many years ago. We've been teaching story magic for 5 years now. And we've got the introduction, and that's where I introduced getting onto the roller coaster, and then we see the hero while he's going up the hill, and this is all a part of the setup. You've got to set up the story to make it interesting, right? Then the challenge. There has to be some kind of big problem challenge, and in there you always meet the villain. When I talk to speakers, I tell speakers the villain is General Ng. And they're like, General Ng? Who's General Ng? I say his first name is Bohr. So General Boring. You don't want to bore people when you're telling them a story and connecting with them. You got to have a villain, right? Hitting that pit. But now you can't keep people in the pit. The roller coaster is fast. You got to get out of the pit quickly, but you need that pit so people can connect and identify. I've been there. I've felt that way.
It's a problem I've faced.
Yeah, it's a problem. Now they're connected to you, right? Then when the guide comes and shows you, hey, here's the lesson cycle. Here's the loop that you're going to go through because I am calling you to be the hero. Luke, you're going to become a Jedi. You are called to take this crazy loop and learn something. So you have the call, you have the strategies that you're given, then you learn the strategies. You either fail or succeed. If you fail, you get to do another loop, right? Until you have that breakthrough. Guys, this is, to me, I've been doing it so long, it's so simple, and I think this way in everything. Every book I read, every movie I watch, I look at I think of the roller coaster the whole time. And you can tell if none of these, or if they don't have strong pieces, even just an entertaining movie still has a breakthrough, still has a lessons learned, and is a powerful tool. So that's the story roller coaster in a nutshell. Guys, you want to tell an amazingly compelling story, comprehend that simple. It's not rocket science, but we have thousands of books out there writing about how to tell and speak compelling stories. And if your podcast isn't connecting and doing some form or fashion of that, then you are missing out. You're missing out. Cool.
Very cool.
Cool. How much time do I have? Because I have a whole lot more stuff. If we wanted to, I would like to talk about kind of the purpose of storytelling, if that's okay. Do we got time?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes, please. We have like 12 minutes.
12 minutes. Oh, wow. Well, you know what? Then I'm going to, I'm going to tell you a story about this little boy, Bobby James, in 7th grade in 1980 something. He's in class. He's in the hallway. And he's looking over at the door, and the bell's fixing to ring. And he always waits. He always waits for everybody to leave the hallway before he goes to the door. And it just so happens this one day, one of his friends is not going to class. And he's like, dude, I got to get to class. I got to go to the door. And finally, he starts walking to the door, and his friend says, dude, are you in the retarded class? Yeah, I'm in the retarded class. You know I'm a smart person, but I feel stupid. And I went home and told my parents, that's it. I'm no longer going to be in those special classes. I don't want to do that anymore. And I fought hard all through high school, elementary, junior high. I fought to just be a normal kid that could do normal stuff, that could spell. My friend would tell me, dude, spelling is so easy. How can you not spell? Tests after tests, it says, yes, he has a learning disability. what the heck does that mean? And this was back in the day. Dyslexia was still a new thing and they didn't talk about it much. And you only got tested if you actually asked for it. And all I knew about dyslexia was that you read backwards. That's all I knew. And I didn't read backwards. That wasn't my problem. I just was stupid. Well, college, I somehow got into college, and my first year of English class, I got into this class with this little lady professor, and I learned, oh my gosh, this is the hardest professor in the whole college. She's tough. She's brutal. And everybody's like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, how can I do this? I have to fight tooth and nail just to get a barely passing grade. What am I going to do? First day of class, oh my gosh, she is on fire. And she's saying, this is how I need it done. This is what I want. But there was something about her that I just loved. The power that she had and the this is the way it needs to be. And people would get so pissed. Man, she gave me a bad grade because I put my name over here. And I'm like, dude, she said to put it right there. Why? It's about freaking following directions. How damn hard can it be to write your name where she asked you to? And you're pissed at her because you were stupid enough to do it somewhere else. I fell in love with this person. She would sit and read us stuff that was just so cool. I ended up passing the class with a C. I passed the class with a C. And when the next semester came along, I signed up for her second year English class. And the first day of class, she goes, typically people lose a letter grade. If you've taken my first class, you lose a letter grade in this next class. Oh, crap. I fought tooth and nail in that first one to get a C. Come on. I became obsessed with doing well. I would write extra credit stuff. I wrote stories that she didn't even ask for, and I would give her papers that she didn't even ask for. And I'd tell her, hey, I bought that book that you read that quote in. I bought this book. I've read them all. And we would sit and talk about these books. The end of that semester, I got a B in that class. But the big part was when she came up to me and she said, Bobby, you should think about changing your major to English and literature. And my thought was, I'm stupid. I can't. Are you kidding me? This is the kid that can barely spell cat and thee, and you think I should be writing? She said, I think you could be a great writer someday. Well, fast forward my entrepreneur world, my trying to be a rock star and all of that crazy stuff. Many years later, after so much personal development and growth and success in entrepreneurship and all of these different successes, I remember one day kind of praying to my maker, what do I do now? And I heard write a book. And then it took me back to her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to write a book, even though I don't know how I'm going to do that. Well, I did. I wrote a book. It's a real book. It's not like a 2-pager or a 10-pager. It's actually over 70,000 words. It is one of the closest things to my heart because you can do hard things. And everybody is a genius in their own way. And I love telling stories. This whole book is about learning lessons by following a boy that wants to know why life sucks. And of course, he finds out in the end why life doesn't suck, why life is amazing, why life is what you make it. And I'm so proud of that and thankful to my guide, that professor that everybody disliked and thought and motivated me to be a powerhouse in the world. So that's my core story. We talk about core stories a lot. Everybody has more than one, but for me, it was a big thing to realize, I'm a genius. I'm a genius in my own right, not a stupid person. So cool. Purpose. my last little thing that I'd like to talk about is purpose. We talk about this story all the time. There's a big, two big buildings. They're like 100 stories high. And there's this deal that if they'll put a beam across these two buildings that are together, and they'll pay you $100,000 if you want to walk across this beam. We ask in our live classes a lot. So who's up for 100? We always get one. We always get one guy that goes, "Yeah, dude, 100 grand. I will walk across that." Well, it's a little windy, and there's about an 80% chance that you'll make it. And maybe we still have one person that's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then we go up to 1 million. And then we maybe get one or two people. And then we say, you know what? What if your family was across that other way? And if you didn't get to them, they would die. How many of you would walk across that? And we pretty much always get every single hand. Your purpose is what matters. What motivates you is what matters. And with stories, who you are is what moves the world. Cool. So, all right, how are we doing on time? I just want to finish off by just introducing folks to stuff. Kim.
You have about 3 minutes still.
3 minutes. That's perfect. So as a speaker, and this is a total side note, but I want to tell people, when you're a speaker and somebody asks you to speak in an event, if you speak way over the time they give you or way under the time they give you, you are not a professional. That is a giant. I teach that so often that if somebody gives you a time frame, you get in there between that time frame. So that's my soapbox. Sorry, I had to throw that out. That's why I'm asking times, because usually I have a clock running, but my clock stopped running. So anyway, I want to tell this last piece. So Speak Up, we've been doing this for 5 years. We've never had an online real presence. We've done very in-person. Of course, last year that messed a lot of stuff up. Yeah, everything was whacked out. But we started creating an online piece, and we now have Story Magic, the transformational storytelling online course that we're working on. Now, it's not actually released yet, but if you want, now they say this is an actual statistics. I looked it up on Google, so it's got to be true, right? People that know how to present, that know how to communicate better, make 36% more income than folks that don't. So this is a big deal. When you understand how to communicate and connect with people, you will be more wealthy, or you'll be more hireable, all those stuff. And I tell people all the time, you are just as good as Tony Robbins, Brené Brown, Oprah Winfrey. People just don't know it yet. And maybe you don't know it yet, but you are just as powerful as anybody else. And your stories are just as powerful as anybody else. The cool thing about when you understand and really connect with this whole roller coaster thing, and you can get up and speak in front of anybody super easily and get rid of the worries. I had people, they bring up little cards to do their speeches. Man, that's the death of, please never bring up a card to do a speech. Or is I got to, not if you know your story. I don't need a card to remember the little boy sitting on his 3-legged stool, eating the one turkey leg and the dog coming and I don't need anything written down because I know the story. You want to feel comfortable on stage, just know your story.
Hey guys, I am going to interrupt Bobby here because I've been through Bobby's hour-long workshop and spent a day going over this, and then spent what the intensive was like three days.
Yeah.
And I've gone through this with him, and I went through the stage of being the guy who needed to have the card up with him when he was talking, to being called upon to speak. I was like, hey, we've got some time. We need somebody to speak in about 15 minutes. Do you have this? I was like, sure, I got it. No problem. A lot of what I've done on Clubhouse has been 100% influenced by Bobby, because I know who I am. I know what my purpose when I get up to speak is. And I know a handful of core stories that I can draw upon to then influence the people who are in the audience in the ways that they need to be influenced.
That
And
is
so Bobby, like, go to that link, sign up to get the emails about it, because this stuff changes lives. 100% changes lives.
Thank you. It's so cool because we've taught quite a few folks, and it warms my heart every time somebody comes up to me and say, Bobby, you changed my whole world just by letting me be comfortable with who I am, because at the spot of a moment, I can get up and kill an audience.
In a good way.
Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I get a little graphic. No. So
that was
anyway,
a totally Texas thing.
yeah, you kill it, baby. Yeah. So go to info.speakupspeakers.com. It's just a very simple form that's just asking for your email and your name. And all it is that when we're ready to get, and the package is going to be, we are putting so much cool stuff together for this package. So if you're at all interested in being a powerhouse storyteller and just being able to jump without a hat and be powerful on stage or in a podcast, in an interview, go check it out.
And I will tell you guys, you're going to want to check it out as soon as you get it, as soon as you get notified, because I plan on talking to Bobby about raising the price. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but he is severely undercharging for this. So if he is, if I get my way, it's going to become more expensive. So you're going to want to jump on it as soon as you can.
I love it.
Is this like the VIP group discount if you go through the first one before he raises the price? That's like the secret.
Absolutely. I'm all about getting the message out there, whatever it takes. Cool. Well, this is great.
Well,
Guys,
just for the record, Bobby, I am going to tell you, I'm going to go and sign up. I have actually spoken on more than 3,000 stages to date. And I want to learn from you because you had me the entire 32 minutes like sucked in. So I love that you were able to tell me stories and keep me from being that Mr. Ing, boring. So I love that.
That is so. I'll tell you, I think one of the worst things with speakers is they become not teachable. I don't care how many times you've been on stage or what you've done, there's always a way to learn and be something better. I tell people I spend 10% of my income on learning, hands down, 10%, at least 10% on learning constantly. You want to be powerful, then keep learning. It's one of the 8 wisdoms.
Yeah, that's by the way, guys, I'm going to tell you, with 8 wisdoms, this book that he wrote, it's a self-help book, but it's not a self-help book. It is a fun story. I read it. My kids listened to it on Audible. He's got a really good narrator going. Like, if he can teach valuable, strong lessons while keeping a 10-year-old engaged. So it's definitely check it out on Audible.
8 wisdoms. And actually, I have these 3 books here because I wanted to give them away. 8 wisdoms. So it's grammatically incorrect, which fits me perfectly. There is no such thing as plural
8.
wisdoms. Plural wisdoms.
So it starts with just the number 8, right?
Yeah, the number 8 wisdoms. You can go on Amazon, but I have 3 here, and I would like to give them away. So if you guys can figure out how to get them to somebody, or I don't know.
Yeah, we can get them to someone.
But anyway, I would love to give away 3 of them. Again, they're super close to my heart. And I have had young kids come up to me and go, "Oh my gosh, you're the guy that wrote it. I love this." And then I have grown-ups. I have a lady, that is like one of my biggest fans. She's bought like 15 books to give to friends and stuff. And it just humbles me to know that there are folks that actually get some insight out of the book.
So Bobby, if we say on your info.speakupspeakers.com, if they sign up for that, and within the next couple days, we can probably figure out who's in the VIP group from there, and we can pick out the 3 people to get the free book from that.
Absolutely, and I'll mail them at my expense. So no like shipping charges crap or something weird like that.
So Bobby, can I make you a proposition live and everything?
You're getting propositioned. I won't tell your
love
wife.
it. Absolutely.
Would you allow me to pay for everyone in the VIP group to have a copy of that book?
Absolutely. At a discount.
Could you sign them for us?
Ooh, God. Ooh. I'll have to up the no, absolutely. I would feel honored, absolutely honored to sign it. Absolutely. I would love to.
That is so awesome. That's a great bonus, Brandon. That's like this is triple bonus Friday instead of double bonus.
This VIP group, like, people are missing out.
You guys are so. I've known Brandon for a while now, and I just love this guy. I just want to say, and Kim, I can already tell we could be best friends. Absolutely, you've got this powerful energy. I just love it. So thanks, guys, for being here, hooking me up. I don't know.
You like me, Bobby, because I'm going to be in your class.
Oh, nice.
So,
awesome.
I'll tell you, it's hard to get rid of Kim too. Like, she sticks around even when you're an idiot.
I love it. I like people that I say the true secret to success is to not quit. You keep going. You want the secret? It's one word, 2 letters. D-O. Do stuff.
I am a tenacious princess, just so you know.
Oh, I love it. Tenacious princess. Oh my gosh. Is that some handle somewhere? You've got to have that somewhere. I love it.
Well, thank you so much for today. This has been absolutely amazing. And I know our VIPs a lot of them listen to the replays, and I'm sure we will have lots of comments, but I can't wait for all of us to be able to read your book and celebrate together how we can do a better job of telling stories. So thank you so much, Bobby.
Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you. This has been great.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to talk to you, Bobby. You always just bring it.
Yeah, it's fun that we can sit next to each other again. I've been, guys, for a year and a half, I've been jonesing so hard. This COVID thing, you have no idea how tough it has been on my psyche because I love people so much. Anyway.
All right, Kim, what time is Carrie's?
I understand.
Bonus today?
It is at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, I know she's in.
It will be
Australia.
another amazing. Yes. Awesome. And Brandon, do you have any final thoughts? We've got to close this up, but do you have any final thoughts?
I know we need to close this up, guys. This is life-changing in everything that we do as podcasters. So take notes, practice it, learn the story roller coaster, listen to what Bobby said. So and I'll just leave it at that.